Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, ShrimadBhagavatam204. As you may remember, Shukra went running to the forest to find Devyani. And Devyani said to him, "Father, are you a beggar?" And he said, "No, I'm not a beggar. My wealth is my knowledge, and everybody knows it." Devyani said, "In which case I find it all the more difficult to forgive that woman for the words she spoke. I do not want to stay in a place where we are not honored. I will not enter the city." Her father tried in vain to convince her that her anger was wrong and that she should be generous. She would not listen. To Shukra, his daughter was everything. He went to the king Vrishaparva next morning and told him about the unpleasant happenings of the previous day. He then said, "I have no desires but one, and that is the happiness of my daughter. I will go where she wants to go. I cannot live without her." Vrishaparva rushed to the forest with Shukra, and he tried to pacify Devyani. He fell at her feet and said, "My wealth, my prowess, my fame are all because of the grace of your father. If he leaves me and goes away, I will have to kill myself. No other course is open to me. Please be gracious and let him remain with me. Command me, and I will do anything you ask me to do." Devyani pondered for a moment and said, "Your daughter, accompanied by 1,000 maids, should become my slave, and she should come with me as my slave wherever I go. I will be given in marriage to someone, and your daughter should accompany me there as my slave." Vrishaparva sent one of the maids and asked her to bring his daughter. Sharmishta was told all about the conditions imposed on the royal household because of the Brahmin girl. The princess never spoke a word in protest. Quietly, she collected her maids, and accompanied by them, she went back to the presence of her father. She walked quietly toward Devyani and spoke softly. "I am your slave, and so are these maids I have brought with me. I will accompany you wherever you go." Devyani looked at her and asked in a disdainful voice, "How can the daughter of one who is praised become the slave of a daughter of the flatterer? Is it possible?" Sharmishta said in the same soft voice, "When one's people are in trouble, when they are distressed, it is the duty of one to do all one can to relieve them of their worries and their troubles. This is the rule which has been spoken of in ancient times. This rule applies to every human being. But it is more necessary in the case of a king and his children. I do not want my father and his people to suffer because of me. I will therefore be your slave, obey you in all things, and follow you wherever you go." Devyani then spoke to her father and said, "Father, I am pacified, and we will return to the city." With their minds busy with their individual thoughts, they all entered the city. Devyani was triumphant. Shukra was glad because she was. Vrishaparva was unhappy, but there was also relief in his mind, since a guru is the most important person in the court of a king. As for Sharmishta, no one could fathom the thoughts which were in her mind. Her eyes were downcast, but there was an expression of great peace on her face. She was prepared to do anything for her father, since she loved him very much. 129. Yayati weds Devyani. Several days passed thus. One day, Devyani, surrounded by the many maids led by Sharmishta, went to the forest. It seemed as though the enmity between the girls had been forgotten. They were all playing, singing, dancing, and they were bent on enjoying themselves in the forest. To that forest once again came Yayati, the king from Hastinapura. From a distance he saw a group of girls, and he came nearer. Among them he noticed that 2 maids were beautiful. When he observed them closely, he saw that he had already seen one of them before. Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.